Heimatdörfli, bist so alt wie der dunkle Tannenwald. Doch in die Welt schaust, frisch und gesund, jedes Mal, wenn die Sonne kommt. Deine dunklen, brünen Häusli mit den roten Nägelsträußli. Oh, die möchte ich wieder sehen. Oh, die möchte ich wieder sehen.
I'm currently on my way to Zumsi, a little hamlet about a 30-minute walk outside of Zermatt, which can only be reached on foot. I came here last week for the first time in about 2 years, and I discovered a plaque I had not seen before. I've never heard of the author Hannes Taugwalder, but I was intrigued. So the next day I dropped into the local library, or Gemeindebibliothek. Rather than reading the book on my sofa at home, like a reasonable person, I decided that I was only allowed to read when actually in Zumsi. But also, this gives me the opportunity to find out why I found this connection between place and memory so intuitively intriguing. In any case, it feels like it's about more than just a reading. Taking place almost exactly 100 years ago, The Lost Valley describes the boyhood experiences of the author. He was living then where I was reading now. Whilst I enjoyed the memoirs, I was somewhat disappointed by the lack of impact the book had on me. It required a very deliberate effort to reconnect with someone else's memories. Too abstract, too historical. Instead, it was the fleeting and less definable instances that resonated with me the most. A warm stone against my back on a sunny day. Shivering cold on a foggy morning, and the comforting first glimpses of the familiar rooflines that would offer me shelter from the strong winds. It was the place itself that had created this instinctive and effortless connection. In Zumsi, the two worlds seemed to coexist seamlessly. Life ingrained in lifeless matter. When first setting out on my literary journey, I had decided that I would walk to Zumsi every day until I had finished my book. If anything, this repetitive routine made me like the place less. But eventually I realized that this whole endeavor seemed to be as much about this walk as it was about the reading. You're not simply a tourist anymore that only experiences them when they're out on a nice Sunday walk and it's all sunny and beautiful and you're in a good mood. But you allow yourself to be angry or grumpy at them. Like in any relationship, once you have had your big fight, the relationship strengthens and takes on a whole nother dimension. Maybe accepting its flaws and carrying on nevertheless. The walk wasn't nearly as glamorously meditative as I hoped it would be. In reality, it was the sunny afternoons with throngs of tourists and the shiveringly cold and dangerously icy evenings that I remember the most from the walk. Yet, I did get to know the place for what it really is. Its good moods and its bad moods. Its silent moments and its loud ones. It's again only time that can grow such a bond. And for me, it was this hour of walking that had turned Zumsee from a beautiful space into a meaningful place. Those who know me at all will know I can be very impatient indeed, and after 3 days I was pretty tempted to give up and instead finish the reading on my sofa. It's half an hour to get there, an hour there reading, and then half an hour back. Plus bits and bobs stopping to do some filming. Ends up being about 2 hours plus. You know, it's not about getting tasks done as quickly as possible and about, you know, time boxing everything that needs to get done and then moving on, but it's essentially, you know, by its definition inefficient. And there's something quite infuriating about that, but also something quite freeing. During this hour of forced timelessness, I allowed myself to put the camera down, relax, and open up to the place around me. It was only by wasting a week that I learned something worthwhile. Taugwalder knew that when it came to our personal experience of place, it wasn't the big, abstract and rational timescales that mattered, but the small and insignificant ones. In my reading, I have come across one of his poems that I think sums all of this up rather well. They say the Earth's crust is 5 billion years old. Our solar system takes 220 million years to orbit the center of the Milky Way, and a message to the Andromeda Galaxy would need millions of years. But I say, every spring the buttercups bloom in my garden. How truly wonderful.